Have you ever noticed someone wearing a Gucci belt or carrying a Louis Vuitton bag and thought, wow, they must be rich? Well, what if I told you that often, the opposite is true? There's a hidden economic trap that many people fall into, and it has a name, the logo tax. It's the premium people pay for luxury goods, not for the quality, but for the status they signal. And ironically, it's often paid by those who can least afford it. Let's dive into this. The logo tax describes a phenomenon where people with lower incomes spend a disproportionately high percentage of their earnings on branded luxury items. Think designer clothes, expensive watches, or the latest high-end smartphone. You might be tempted to dismiss this as foolish or financially irresponsible, but it's far more complex than that. In many ways, it's a perfectly rational response to a world that constantly judges us based on what we wear and what we own. Sociologist Thorstein Veblen called this conspicuous consumption over a century ago. He argued that people buy expensive things not because they need them, but to display their wealth and social standing. In a society where economic mobility feels impossible, looking like you've made it can feel like the next best thing. It's a way to gain a little bit of respect, to be seen, and to feel like you belong to a group you aspire to join. When you're constantly facing systemic barriers, a luxury logo can feel like a key that might just unlock a door, or at least get you a foot in it. Think about it from a psychological perspective. We are all social creatures, hardwired to seek acceptance and status. When you walk into a room, people make snap judgments. A study from Princeton University found that it takes just 1/10 of a second for us to form an impression of a stranger based on their face. And our clothes? They're like a social uniform. They communicate information about us before we even open our mouths. For someone struggling to get ahead, a designer logo can feel like a shield, a way to project competence and success, even if their bank account tells a different story. It's a form of peacocking, an attempt to signal value in a world that often overlooks you. But this is where the trap snaps shut. This strategy of signaling wealth often comes at a tremendous cost. Spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on a handbag when you're living paycheck to paycheck means sacrificing things that actually build wealth. That money could have been used for an emergency fund, a down payment on a house, investments in education, or starting a small business. Instead, it goes towards maintaining an illusion. The logo tax isn't a real tax collected by the government. It's a tax on your future, collected by societal pressure and your own aspirations. It keeps people trapped in a cycle of debt and financial instability, always working to afford the appearance of success rather than building the foundation for real success. And let's be honest, luxury brands know this. They are masters of psychology. Their marketing doesn't just sell a product, it sells a dream, an identity, a sense of belonging to an exclusive club. Their ads are filled with images of glamorous lifestyles, powerful people, and effortless success. They create an artificial scarcity, driving up desire. By plastering their logos everywhere, they turn their customers into walking billboards, perpetuating the very culture that fuels the logo tax. The logo becomes more important than the product itself. Social media has poured gasoline on this fire. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are a highlight reel of people's lives. We are constantly bombarded with images of influencers and celebrities flaunting their latest luxury purchases. The algorithm is designed to show us what we desire, creating an endless feedback loop of envy and aspiration. It normalizes extravagant spending and sets an impossibly high standard for what a good life looks like. The pressure to keep up is immense, especially for younger generations whose identities are often forged in the digital realm. The flex culture isn't just about showing off, it's about validation. A picture with a designer bag can get hundreds of likes, providing a temporary hit of dopamine and a feeling of social approval that can be highly addictive. So, we are faced with a difficult paradox. On one hand, spending on luxury goods is a logical response to social prejudice. It's a way to navigate a world that judges you on superficial cues. On the other hand, it's a financial dead end that perpetuates the very inequality it seeks to overcome. What's the solution? Simply telling people to be smarter with their money is condescending and misses the point. It ignores the deep-seated social and psychological pressures at play. The real solution has to be multifaceted. First, we need a cultural shift. We have to start valuing people for their character, their skills, and their contributions, not for the brands they wear. This means challenging our own biases. The next time you see someone with an expensive watch, maybe don't assume they're rich. And if you see someone without any designer logos, don't assume they're unsuccessful. We need to actively promote a culture that celebrates frugality, saving, and investing as signs of true financial strength and intelligence. Financial education is also crucial. Schools and communities need to teach practical money management skills from a young age. But it has to be more than just budgeting. It needs to address the psychology of money, helping people understand the marketing tactics used by brands and the social pressures that influence their spending decisions. We need to empower people with the knowledge to see the logo tax for what it is, a clever trick designed to separate you from your money and your future. And for individuals caught in this cycle, the path forward starts with self-awareness. It's about asking yourself tough questions. Why do I want this item? Am I buying it for myself, or for how I think it will make other people see me? What else could I do with this money that would bring me closer to my real, long-term goals? Shifting your focus from impressing others to investing in yourself is a powerful first step. That could mean learning a new skill, starting a side hustle, or simply building up an emergency fund that gives you real security, not just the appearance of it. True wealth isn't about the logos you wear. It's about freedom, security, and the ability to choose your own path. It's about having assets that work for you, not liabilities that you work for. The most successful people I know are often the ones who are the most discreet about their wealth. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They're playing a different game, a long-term game of building real, lasting value. Breaking free from the logo tax is an act of rebellion. It's about rejecting a system that wants to keep you poor and defining success on your own terms. It's not easy, but it's the only way to build a life of genuine prosperity, not just one that looks good on Instagram. So let's start a conversation about this. Let's change the definition of status from what we own to who we are. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges the way we think about money and life. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt the pressure of the logo tax? Let's talk about it. Until next time, invest in yourself.